Hey, Matt.
Back. There he is.
How you doing? Happy 100th episode. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much, Jayme.
That's a huge achievement. No lie. So we're going to talk back today. Look, I'm going to have to learn how to do buns in my hair so it can look like the picture next time I fill in.
Yes, you got to do the buns. That's only right. And we'll add a cheese slice behind as well. We'll do something like that. I don't know. We'll mess with it.
You can keep the same one. Maybe just like scratch your name out and put cheese slice on it or something. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. Well, there's a lot of good comments we've had today. Let's start with this one. This was just early on in the show. Land MW said MAGAs have always been tribal, and that's, I think, been a big theme of today's show, where you talked about how these people say they're one way about things, but now that Trump's in office and he's doing things in the opposite of what they said they wanted before, but they're still going along with it. And I think we've been seeing a lot of that going on. Although I will say this, one reason that Trump got elected was because he was able to form a big coalition. It wasn't just MAGA. And I think a lot of the people who jumped on board with the Trump train as part of the coalition, they're the ones who are falling off. But the MAGA people, they're still on board, and they're basically going to do whatever their leader tells them to do, and whatever they think is okay from that perspective. But yeah, MAGA is tribal. They always have been tribal. And there's people out there. I think Garland Nixon is the one saying that MAGA is just an iteration of the Tea Party.
Yes, that's right.
The Tea Party people have just moved into becoming the MAGA people now. And I think there's a lot of truth to that assessment.
Yeah.
All right.
Tribalism is alive and well, for sure.
Yeah, it's the worst thing. Like, while you're talking to Fee, I'm just sitting there thinking nothing's going to change for the better politically in America until people stop voting for Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah. Until the third place candidate isn't getting 1.5% of the vote.
Yeah, until the third place candidate wins.
Yeah.
That's when things might start to get better.
Yeah.
Even if it's a libertarian, I'll take a libertarian, even though I wouldn't prefer like a leftist. I'll take a libertarian over a Republican or Democrat. They'll do things I don't like, but they do things I do like, because we have some overlap there, because they're anti-authoritarian, at least in principle. So, but yeah, until the third party wins in a big way, even if it's in Congress or the Senate, I think we're in trouble.
Yeah.
All right. So the next quote here, it is impossible for the U.S. to reverse the last 75 years of globalization. It cannot be undone no matter what they do. This is 2025, not 1955. Time is up for them, and they wasted it. Well, who's them? I mean, if the them is us, then yes, we're the ones who wasted it because we allowed this to happen. But the globalization, I don't think it really can be reversed. I think the industrialization or the deindustrialization of America, if it can be reversed, which I think it can be, it's going to take decades to do. I mean, we've spent 40 years dismantling it, and it's probably going to take 40 years to bring it back. We can't spin things back up again. But in terms of the time is up, these people are getting what they want. And I think this goes into what Pasta's saying. It was all the plan. Like, I kind of lean more towards with Don, because Pasta and Don were talking about this was the plan. It was going to be Biden or Trump, then Biden, then Trump, and it's just consistency the whole way. I don't agree with that. I kind of lean more in the Don DeBar camp. But the ruling class who's overseeing that, they're going to win either way. I don't think they wanted Trump because Trump is chaotic. And when it comes to business and capital enterprises, they want predictability and consistency, and Trump does not deliver that. So I think that's why they were trying to get rid of him and keep him from winning. But they also know they can work with him because he's not in total opposition to their goals. It's just he makes it more difficult to conduct business than it would be otherwise if they had somebody that was just more stable and keeping a consistent system in place. So you could think about like with the tariff situation, he slaps the tariffs on all these countries, and then he picks it up and gets rid of it a week later. Now he's saying a 90-day pause. Well, all these corporations, they can't make decisions right now because they don't know exactly how that 90-day pause is going to work in the end. And a lot of the people running those businesses are supposedly the people that would be in favor of Biden or Trump. But they don't like this. So they got to put everything on hold. They can't do hiring. They can't decide to make where to move factories if they want to move things back. They don't know what's going to happen because of the chaos right now. And they're also looking at what's happening with all the business coming out of China. If, let's say, if they weren't being affected by China directly, they're probably being affected indirectly because almost everybody gets all their stuff or some part of something that they make comes from China.
Yeah.
So if they're going to have to start changing like distribution networks so that they got to, instead of China shipping directly to the US, they're going to ship to other countries. They put the stuff together there and then send it to us, made in Taiwan, made in Vietnam, made in wherever, pick a country. That's going to add a lot of cost, even if you're avoiding the tariff costs, just in cost of shipping.
Yeah.
So I don't think that the people in charge are really happy with Trump because of the chaos he brings. But I also don't think they're losing out either. They are able to make decisions and still win in a way and keep.
Well, of course they can still win. I mean, look, I tried to ask Dawn.
That's what we have right now. So
yeah, I tried to ask Dawn about
for them.
I tried to ask Dawn about who's in charge, and I don't think we were able to really get to the answer of that question because we're too busy talking about the overall complexity of the economy and the tariffs and how that's different from what we've seen over and over in the past with Obama. And we were talking about the comparisons, but I'm just trying to get to the bottom of who's in charge. And like when you're talking about the globalists, and people have different names, globalists and Joker's Tree, we appreciate the comment. The globalization has been going on for 75 years. We talk about Israel. We talk about the privatizing of the banking system. We talk about how technology has been captured. There is a global intention to get everybody on the digital ID, the central banking currency system. All of this stuff is in play, but it's like, our presidents, are they even in charge at all? Are we just wasting our time with this? Is Trump going to get this done? Is he not? Are they going to allow him to get anything done? And as Jokers for You says, the time is up, and whoever they is, you can call it whatever you want, but they wasted it. The greedy assholes who run the planet, or whatever they've been up to, the stuff we know about, the stuff we don't know about. Yeah, it seems like it's time's up.
Well, I think they is the people who do want to bring reindustrialize America. I think it's up for them. So the people who want to bring the factories back here, whoever that is,
anyone who is going to challenge, anyone who's going to challenge this globalization, we had our chance, we blew it. It's over.
Right.
Okay. Got it.
But then you got people like the Duran saying that what Trump is doing here with this tariff war, the trade war, that this is the end of globalization. It's
no.
But I'm not so sure they're right on that.
No way. We're in the middle of it.
They're not going to go away. They're not
digital IDs. Look at this is May 7th. Everybody has to have a damn what do you call it? Real ID on May 7th. That's a Trump thing. That's it. That's going through.
Well, that's been in the works for a long time too, but it's
well, they have a date on it now and whatever. Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very dystopian.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me is we have all of these science fiction stories telling us, showing these dystopian futures, and we watch this and go, man, that's horrible. Who would want to live in that? But these ruling class people, they watch those stories and they say, hey, that's a good idea. Let's do it. Let's make it a reality. And that's what they're trying to do.
All right. Moving on.
So let's go. That kind of leads into the next comment here. So this from Wish to Go. A predator ruling class Zio-Occupation is the same here in the UK. I think it might be actually worse in the UK.
Yeah, that's our blueprint. That's our blueprint. The UK is our blueprint to see what's coming next.
Yes.
They're literally beating the shit out of students as they're going in this class. They're just like boom, boom, boom. They're just they're knocking on your door. They're not even knocking anymore. If you did a social media post they didn't like, you're gone. You're in jail right now.
And we've watched some of the people in the UK getting arrested for posting something on Facebook.
Yeah.
And the cops are just like, you don't even see a concern on their face, like we know we're doing the wrong thing, but we have to do it. They're totally
Well,
on board and going along with
Jayme,
it.
those cops all quit. They you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
well, that's what. Yeah.
yeah,
If you've
you're
got
not
a
going
conscience
around
where you
with
think that's bad, you're going to
oh,
leave. But so then that's
yeah,
what you're left with, right?
yeah,
Is these people who just like, well, these are the rules. We're going to follow the rules and do what we need to do. That
yeah,
is terrifying because there's a lot of people who are like that, and they're under the same oppression we are. It's but they're just going to be treated a little bit better because
yeah.
they're willing to turn us in. Um, that's that's going on in the UK right now. I I'm afraid for anybody who works in our space to ever set foot in the UK.
I don't think. I think we need to stay out.
I'm kind of shocked that Jay is over there. He's reporting on this show from the UK. I'm like, man, I hope he just keeps his head down when he's trying to get out of the
Maybe I
country.
shouldn't have announced that he was there. That's my bad.
Yeah, I
My
know. I was
bad.
thinking the same
I
thing.
was like reporting live from the UK on assignment. They're like, what assignment is he on? Boom. They're like, boom, boom,
Maybe
boom,
maybe
boom.
you should have said, yeah, no, he's in Canada. Yeah, just he's
Oh my
safely
god!
in
I totally
Canada.
said it. Literally says on assignment in UK. They're like, what's the assignment? What's he up to? And then they're like,
He's
we're
a
like, "Wait."
journalist. He's
Yeah,
I mean, because they pulled Richard Medhurst off the
yeah.
plane and threw him in jail. And as far as I know, I think he's still like probably in some jail locked away from right now, as far as I know.
No.
He got out.
He got out, but he's isolated. The guy's like traumatized, man.
Yeah, well, I know he got out, but then I thought like they sent him
They
back
did
in.
it again. Did I miss that?
That's what I thought happened.
Oh my
Because he
god,
got
I
out and
might
then
have
he just
missed that.
well,
I
anyway, what's happening to him is absolutely wrong, and that's happening in the UK.
oh
So,
my god. Oh my
um,
god.
yeah,
They're
it's the
talking
same in
about
the UK, but
arresting
I think it's
these.
worse.
They're
'Cause at
talking
least
about arresting these other podcasters right now. They're literally the Zionist team. I forget the name of the guy. We saw this clip of they're going after Candace Owens. They're going after even Cenk Uygur, Anna Kasparian, people you never thought you'd say in the same sentence. They're going. There's talking about because they're all like, "Hey, this is bullshit," and you're like,
yeah,
"Oh," they're like, "Oh, you're going to be a voice of dissent against Israel." That's anti-Semitic. That's
yeah,
anti-Semitic. That's worth. We're gonna lock your ass up. We're gonna cut off your
I'm
funding.
actually shocked how things look right now in the UK from that standpoint.
Yeah,
I didn't think they were that far from us, but wow,
yeah,
it they really do not care about
yeah,
freedoms of their people. I mean, it is a kingdom, right? And a
yeah,
kingdom is a form of dictatorship.
yeah.
So, uh,
Moving on.
yeah, let's go ahead and move on. That one's terrifying.
I did.
All right, so we had a troll, and I think you took care of it, Matt. But this
did.
troll was in here talking about promoting AOC.
President AOC.
President AOC. There were several comments, but like I just want to highlight this one because it was not so obnoxious as some of the others. And no, we did not ban this person from the chat because they were presenting these political views. We banned this person from the chat because they started making personal attacks against other people in the chat.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you can't do that. Like, if you want to come in and spew all this stuff that we might disagree with politically, we're going to let you say it, no problem. But don't attack other people. That's just wrong.
I mean, that's what a troll. That's a definition of a troll. Somebody with bad intention to harass and bully. So we don't care what you have to say politically because you already crossed that line.
But here's a person though very much pro AOC. I don't know. Well, okay, everything they were saying was very pro AOC. Maybe it was a right winger that was just trying to, mess with us. That's possible too. But this opens the door for a conversation, and I'm glad you had that conversation with Kit. I almost actually called Kit the other night to have a very similar conversation with him about this, but I didn't want to bug him. Yeah. Because I kind of want to go through that thought exercise of like, okay, let's say, and you and Kit did a touch on it earlier, but let's say that the AOC does run for president and everybody gets on board with it, like we were in 2016 with Bernie, right?
Yeah.
Is that so bad? How bad is that for us? Now, you and I, we know that AOC is a fraud, that she's not the socialist person that they claim she is. Fox News paints her out to be something way cooler than she actually is. We know she's just a Democrat, and she's being she's being groomed to be the next Nancy Pelosi.
Jayme, it's horrible if that happens. She will be the reincarnation of Obama.
Yeah, I think so.
In the age of technocracy, like in the age of globalization, in the age of digital ID, in the age of point me to the camera, point me to the crowd. Yes, we can. Hope and change. I'm a woman doing it now. I look like you, person of color. I'm a woman now. I got every element you ever wanted in a Barack Obama Part 2. You get an AOC. You get the youth. You get everybody thinking that we're making progress. And meanwhile, you turn around and you invade 5 more countries, and you push. The list is a mile long. I don't have to get into the list of Obama. You guys know what he did.
Look, I put that in the comment, and I made that comment earlier too. I said she's just Obama 2.0. Yeah. But what she is going to do is bring back together that coalition of the left that Bernie created in 2016. That's all. I already see that happening right now, and a lot of those people are supposed to be our allies. But the thing is, I think the people who've been paying attention the last 8 years, like us, we know it's a bunch of BS because they're just Democrats. They're not a left organization, and Bernie's not the leader that we needed. He's a loyalist to the Democratic Party. AOC is shown to be the exact same thing, but now they're coming out there and they're going to reassemble this coalition of the left. Now, I'm of the mindset where I think the Democrats are going to go with it because they don't really have anything else.
Yeah, so you're on my side on that. There's not going to be a switch out of the next Hillary Clinton that you have to vote for now.
I think the Democratic Party is going to ride the AOC train.
Yeah,
because they've kind of put her to heel. She's kind of showed that she's a loyal Democrat. She didn't come out and criticize Joe Biden when she had multiple opportunities to during that entire administration. And she didn't support Medicare for all, which was a staple of what she ran on when she first got elected in the first place. And then for those of us paying attention, we just watched her backstab us and just walk away from everything she said was important year after year after year. And it's just to the point where we call her AOCIA because whether or not she is a PSYOP, she feels like she is one. And this could be like this run for president could be the biggest one there is. But
I don't know who I'm more mad at, the AOC or this troll that posted this post. Can we get this comment off the damn screen?
Well, but they might be right. Like if AOC runs, I mean, she stands a really good chance of winning the election. And
that's what I'm saying. You got it. It's 2.0 Obama, but it's more like Obama times 1,000. Is like it's more like you're gonna get exactly that. Plus, it's gonna be worse. So it's like
like Kit said, we're the ones going to be out there being naysayers, trying to be party poopers on the AOC parade. And those people we're going to be hated.
We're never going to see
more than anything we've ever been before.
Kit was 100% right about that. You've never experienced anything like it, Jayme. Never. No, I know I haven't because we weren't being vocal during Obama.
I wasn't on board with Obama.
But were you being like this is were you shouting it at the top of your lungs and then people
here's the reason I wasn't on board with Obama is because I was still conservative right wing.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know what?
I
did vote for Obama in the primary.
Yeah.
Because I liked what he was saying, and then because I was more libertarian, identifying with the Tea Party way back then, at least in the kind the core of the movement, like the baseline that they put out there for what they want to do, they've got a lot of good points, but then it became clear to me that the movement was being co-opted by big business, and a lot of principles started going out the window, and then you kind of this isn't where I want to be. Like you're not sticking true to what you said. But with Obama, I kind of saw some of that too. Same thing with Howard Dean in 2004.
Oh God, yeah.
Like Howard Dean, I mean, I was still pretty much just a Republican, a disgruntled Republican, because I didn't like George W. Bush. But I was watching Howard Dean, and him when I saw him go up and speak, I'm like, you know what? I can get on board with that. And I hated Democrats back then, like absolutely hated Democrats. So watching, but you see some of these Democrats, they get up there on stage and they say all the right things, so they know what people want to hear and what we should be doing. But whenever anybody tries to do it and they get any traction, they get kneecapped. And all it took to take Howard Dean out was one stupid soundbite from him giving a speech to college students where he's going, That was it. And they took him out for that.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
There was nothing else of substance to knock him out of the race, but that one thing, and they just played it on loop on all the lefty-leaning media for like 24/7.
Yeah.
Until they got John Kerry.
I was working for the SEIU at the time. They flew us out to Detroit to campaign for Howard Dean. Literally, while we were in the air on the plane, the soundbite happened. We land in Detroit. We go in the office, and they had all this Howard Dean shit like put into a back closet. It was gone. They go, we think it's going to be Kerry now. And the first red flag to us was that because we were there to campaign for Howard Dean. What I didn't realize, and I should have realized in the time, is once all that shit immediately went in a closet, then they just said, it's done. We're done. Kerry's the next guy. And they said to us, it doesn't matter if it's Howard Dean or John Kerry. The purpose of our campaign is to stop George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. And I said, well, that's weird. So the campaign is an anti, it's not for someone, it's anti. And so there's their first sign that didn't give a shit. They were like, okay, time to switch them up. Doesn't matter. And so that's been the game plan ever since, right? Is just you switch them up. Biden no longer has a stutter. He's now demented. Switch her up. Here's Kamala. Ha ha ha. Like, it's like, it doesn't matter. We have to stop Trump.
Well, if the plan was to get rid of W, they failed, because with Howard Dean, you had people leaning to the right, like me, considering voting for him. Yeah. Like, there were a lot of people like me saying, well, he's making a lot of sense in these areas. I know he's a Democrat, but you know what? I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. And then you took him out, and then you lost all those people who were Republican-leaning voters. You just lost us all. Because Kerry he's just another Democrat. We're like, nah, screw him. But Dean was something different at the time. Now, after he got kicked out of that presidential run, he got his mind right and got back on board with the Democratic Party. But Obama, when he started coming out, he was saying a lot of the same things. Yeah. And so there were people on the right who are looking for that message. And then you got a lot more of it coming from Bernie in 2016 and 2020. Yeah. And if they hadn't screwed Bernie in 2016, we all know he would have won easily. He would have beat Trump, because a lot of those people who voted for Trump would have voted for Bernie, because they knew, well, you got one guy who's a big time liar, and then the other guy who actually seems like a nice guy. I'm going to go with the nice guy, but the nice guy wasn't an option. So they went with the liar. They knew he was a liar, but they're like, you know what? He's at least saying the things we want to hear.
So we gotta move through this.
Yeah.
Well, on time here.
I had a lot to say on that issue, but I think we're going to get a lot more of the same here coming up with AOC, and I think the Democratic Party is going to ride with her. Yep. I think they're going to push her like another Obama. Now, I don't know if she's going to be quite as obedient as Obama was, but
sure she will.
I won't be too surprised.
She'll be totally obedient. So I'm gonna throw up the next. This is all set in being.
This just goes along with it.
Yeah, this is, geez, that's annoying. Oh yeah, she wants to be the next blue, no matter who. Mama Bear. She wants to be the Mama Bear. That's great. It's a great call on that one. We knew that our second day in office, she was calling Nancy Pelosi.
No. It was a couple months in.
Oh, a couple
months. Remember, she first got in there. She was jumping up and down on top of Nancy Pelosi's desk with protesting.
That was on day one. Day two.
Well, hey, I was cheering for her. I was still cheering for her then. I said, that's what I want to see. That's great. And then she got a talking to, and
day two, she went on The View and told all the cackling hens that Mama Bear's so amazing, and and she's so cool, and they were like, oh,
she got her mind right, just like how
she got her mind right. Hey, Jungle Jer came in just in time. I like this. I finally made it just in time for World War III. Happy 100, fam. Yeah, you made it just in time, Jungle Jer. Thank you for tuning in. And we got a lot of other happy 2020. Oh, look at that. Trump is still a reality TV star, and Zelensky is still a comedian.
Yeah, it's just really in a lot of ways, when you look at our political system and the electoral college, in a lot of ways, it's just theater.
Yeah.
And we got two stars who are used to being on stage in charge right now.
Yeah. What's the difference of Reagan and, I know they tried to do something with Schwarzenegger there for a second, but whatever. This is an old game plan to pick the stars, but we know the CIA, the reason we call AOC CIA, we know the Hollywood alignment with DC. There's always been an interchangeable element of what is acting. Acting is good performance. You get it from Hollywood, so you can take people right out of Hollywood, right out of the #1 reality show on TV. So it works in Ukraine too. Take him. He was Zelensky literally played the president. Take him right off the show and put him right behind a desk with a camera on, a green screen behind him. Remember the green screen, the Zelensky's green screen. I'm in the middle of the action. It's Hollywood.
I mean, you could say a lot of that was true with Obama, but it was certainly true with Reagan. I mean, Reagan was straight out of Hollywood and
literally out of Hollywood.
And all right, but sticking with the theater theme, like I thought that Superman, it was Superman who promised to get rid of the nukes. That was Superman 4.
That was Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Quest for Peace. The one that always gets left out of the of the discussion. But it was a good intended idea, just bad execution, low funding. But
to this day, one of the worst superhero movies ever made.
But the idea, nonetheless, was a good idea. That if there was a Superman, he at some point might have considered ridding the world of nuclear weapons, because he could actually do that based on the characters of that. So that was a good premise. Just the whole execution, bad. But yes, we appreciate that. It was Superman who promised to do that. Now, will it ever happen?
Who knows?
Is Superman 4 a shitty movie? Yeah. Are we going to ever have that happen? Yeah. No, never happen.
No. Well, we should, though. I mean, think about it. Why do we have thousands of nukes when we only need like 4 or 5 to ruin the ecosystem?
I love this one. Wish to go. The real Russiagate is actually Israel Gate. Yeah, but that one we don't have to like. They're spending the money trying to distract us that it's not that. So that's the real thing. The thing you're spending the money on is the thing that's not real. That's the point. So the money was spent on Russiagate to create it. The Steele dossier
was theater.
Yeah. So follow the money, follow the checkbook. What money is being spent? Palestinians aren't spending money. They're barely alive. They have no limbs left on their starving bodies. So who's spending the money? The people trying to distract you. The fact that Israel Gate actually exists. There you go. That's great. Great comparison.
All right, and then here's from Manimus said, "Grab as much money as he can. The real Trump." Well, maybe it's Trump doing it, but I see more of he's doing it for his buddies. He's making it so they can grab as much money as they can. And he just comes out and says it right there, which kind of leads you into this comment from ChatterX. It's like the orange clown just omitted the quiet part, which is the great America actually means it owns the entire planet. So that's one thing I like about Trump is he's taking the mask off. And he's showing the ugliness of what we actually are as a country, or at least our government is as a country. And I think that wakes people up. But what we need to do is make people understand that, yes, Trump is horrible and awful, and what you see is not something we agree with. But you got to understand that the Democrats are just no different from that. They just wear this mask of civility and politeness, and then they just turn down the intensity to get you to go along with it. But it's all the same stuff.
It is. Thank you, ChatterX.
All right.
Let's do a couple more. Anything else we'll play it at the end. So you guys will get your comments in.
All right. We got more from ChatterX. In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act, from George Orwell. That's very true. A lot of George Orwell quotes we need to share constantly and remind people of that. Let's see. We'll skip that one. We already talked about that. This one from like the Beat Bernie rally. Yeah. So One Cup said the people should have walked out when Bernie was just sitting there watching them like take away the
I haven't seen any footage shared since, but I can imagine a handful walked out. But like, how does Bernie even win that crowd back? We don't really get to see the rest of that. And nobody ever told me. I was trying to find out what city that took place in. I couldn't find it, but it definitely is recent. It's definitely in the last 2 weeks that happened. But yeah, nobody has a clip of what happened next. But it would be awesome if everyone just walked out.
It'd be great if there were people like being interviewed coming out saying, "Hey, why are you leaving?" And it's like Bernie didn't stand up for those protesters, and it just shows that who Bernie is afraid of. Like Bernie, even if he gets into office, he's already showing he's scared. He's not showing leadership. Leadership would be standing up in the face of that. But he's like knowing we can't go up against Israel. that's gonna be because then they'll ruin everything. Well, they're already ruining everything, which is why you got to stand up to them.
Yeah.
So
He's never going to stand up to
he's never
Israel.
going
He's
to,
doing
and
all
like
the
that's what,
Zionist talking points, Jayme. He's doing all the that's all he does.
yeah.
Israel has a right to defend
It,
himself.
he,
Hamas is the terrorist
yeah,
organization.
I don't even
Look at
think he
this.
believes those things when he says them, but he knows that's what he has to say in order for them to leave him alone and let him be in a political operative. Well, if that's the way you're going to be, you're no good as a political operative. You're just a phony.
Does Trump believe Operation Warp Speed worked? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is just put him in the category with everybody else. RFK Jr., does he believe that Palestinians are the most pampered people on the planet? Like, I'm just saying, like, just put him in the category with people that it doesn't really matter if they believe it. They're willing to do it. So there
Right.
you go.
And Leslie followed up. It's so sad, Bernie. This could have been very powerful, and it would have been if he told him to sit. Hey, let those people, let them go. That would have been a big moment. That would have probably gotten us to turn around and go, hey, he actually stood up for something. That would have been a moment of showing leadership, which he doesn't do.
Yeah. Take the handcuffs off. That is a breach of the First Amendment right. You have a right to protest even if we disagree with you, and that would have gotten a round of applause right there. And that would still be he could still do a Zionist shit. He could still do it. Just say you have the right to protest. It's not a crime. It's not a crime to protest. He could have won the crowd right back. That's all you had to say.
Yeah. So he could have done something big with this. Too bad he didn't. Yeah. Thank you, all sentient beings. You're right in line with what we're thinking. All right. So Leslie also said, if you are not angry, there is something wrong with you. I think that's why shows like this exist. Because deep down, I think we're pretty angry about this stuff.
Shows like this, shows like RBN, shows like Hardlines Media, shows like Pasta to Go, shows like Truthwire, shows like Do Dissident, shows like Jimmy Dore, shows like all the just on and on and on.
See, you got to stop listening because you're going to forget somebody. And
I can't. I got to stop listening. Stop listening before you get to the halfway mark, because then if you're in the pie that didn't. Okay, got it.
Yeah. It's like there's so many people I want to mention, but you're going to forget somebody.
Yeah. So stop before you get to the halfway mark. Then you can say, I just did a couple. That was all. Just did a couple.
All right. Okay. Here's one for Fiorella. Fee, always impressed with your knowledge and insight on the crap going on in the world. She is very astute, and she does put in a lot of work.
I look forward to that interview or that discussion with Vanessa Beeley. It's going to be posted tomorrow, so you guys check that out. They're going to get into all this crap, the insightful crap going on in the world. I will put them together.
Very likely, I'll be behind the scenes on that one too.
Oh, very cool, dude.
So I will probably be the engineering and producing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Leslie said she wants to go to Moscow, and I think we should all just plan a trip to go hang out with Fee. We'll just crash her apartment.
And let's document it along the way, and we can do a little not like homeless left on the road.
How is it getting through the airport with your real ID to get out of the country so you can go to a place where you don't have to worry about that crap anymore?
We still got our little what do you call it, global entry, so that's still good for a little while, but I don't know, they might take that away from us.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I wish to go says the CIA are responsible for 95% of the world's misery. Now I digress. I think it's probably only like 85 to 90%. I think 95% is probably a little too high. We're not the only bad guys out there.
Does that include the Mossad? Does that include
MI6?
The MI6? Does that include?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know if it does. If it does include them, then yeah, I could say 95. But I think CIA on its own is probably only in the 80, 85.
Yeah. Does it include the Rothschilds or the?
Yeah, we're not the only bad guys out there. We got there's other people that are doing a lot of bad things too.
The Royal UK. The centuries of fucked upness. I don't know. CIA is kind of new in the grand scheme of things. CIA is new, and people remind us that Israel itself is kind of new in the grand scheme of things. The concept of Zionism is long before Israel, but the people effing up the world. There's centuries of it. So yeah. All right, let's do one more. We'll do the rest.
That was the last one I had marked.
Okay, great.
Well, there's some recent ones here.
Yeah.
Okay, here's an update from Airwaves. I think this is Fred Edwards. Richie Medhurst is living free in Austria, but needs to appear back in the UK next month. Okay,
this is Thank you.
I knew we hadn't heard from him at all.
He certainly had posted about his experience right away, like you said. But I think you thought he had gone back in because he had gone to Austria. I didn't know that, but the fact that he has to go back into court this is not good. Like, what do you have to appear
Yeah.
for? What did you didn't do any, like, there's no, you should have dropped the chart. What are the charges? This is insane.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's very
Charges of
scary.
journalism we don't like.
Yeah.
That's the charges.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, this one, probably the last one. Stealing
Last
donations from workers to fund the DNC is a big deal and a massive waste of resources. CheeseSlice. Yeah, well, okay. Well, I don't disagree with you. I just wouldn't want to. I kind of want to go through the thought exercise and saying, well, what if? Let's go from the other side. Because I totally understand the circumstances of what's going on, but I'm trying. I'm a very pessimistic person by nature, so sometimes I try to want to be less pessimistic and find an optimistic outlook on things and try to look for that silver lining. So maybe it wouldn't be so bad, but that's a facade from me. I really think it's going to be a disaster if they run and win. So,
okay. Well, look, holding people accountable, that's what we got to do. And we can be optimistic sometimes and pessimistic other times and nihilistic sometimes, like Craig Voss says sometimes. But hey, end of the day, let's just report the story, get all the angles, be consistent. We're doing the best we can. So that's what it's about.